This is Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.
Hello viewers, you're watching Pulse of Africa. I'm Jalani Tesfaye for the main news. First, our top stories for today. Zimbabwe seeks BRICS membership and awaits response. Leaders of Côte d'Ivoire and Ghana discuss bilateral cooperation. Morocco approves green hydrogen projects worth $32.5 billion. EU leaders boost defense and pledge more aid for Ukraine. Now, the news in detail. Zimbabwe has officially submitted its application to join BRICS, the country's foreign ministry Amon Muriwa announced during a visit to Moscow on Thursday. Speaking alongside Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov at a news conference, Muriwa emphasized Zimbabwe's commitment to meeting BRICS' membership requirements. BRICS is one of the most important platforms for economic cooperation that is based on principles of mutual respect and sovereign equality of nations, Muriwa stated. Zimbabwe would benefit from any systems that respects these key principles of human interaction and human progress, and BRICS is one of them. He confirmed that Zimbabwe is in the process of aligning with BRICS' conditions and is awaiting a response from the group based on internal consensus. Now to Uganda. Uganda announced 2 new cases of Ebola in the capital Kampala on Thursday, just 2 weeks after discharging all patients who had fully recovered following isolation and treatment. 2 family members of the second Ebola fatality, a child previously under isolation at Mulago National Referral Hospital in Kampala, tested positive for the Ebola virus disease, bringing the total number of laboratory-confirmed cases to 12 since the outbreak was declared on January 30, Ugandan Minister of Health Ruth Aceng told reporters. The second fatality was a 4.5-year-old child from Kibuli, a suburb of Kampala, who died of Ebola at Mulago National Referral Hospital on February 25. We have 2 patients, both contacts of the child we lost, who have tested positive for the Ebola virus, Aceng said. Uganda declared an Ebola outbreak on January 30 after a 32-year-old nurse died of the disease in Kampala. Moving on to Côte d'Ivoire and Ghana. Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara and his Ghanaian counterpart John Dramani Mahama discussed bilateral relations and cooperations in Abidjan on Wednesday. According to the Ivorian presidency, Ouattara and Mahama focused their discussions on shared interests, including defense, security, the cacao economy, mining, energy, and major projects of the ECOWAS, such as the Abidjan-Lagos corridor and the proposed common currency, the ECO. They also pledged to support the implementation of the 2017 Côte d'Ivoire-Ghana Strategic Partnership Agreement. Mahama, who arrived in Abidjan earlier in the day, emphasized that Ivorians and Ghanaians are one people and urged both nations to continue collaborating. He also encouraged stronger economic ties to enhance their roles within the African Continental Free Trade Area, headquartered in Accra, Ghana. Now, in its 7th year, the project employs advanced reproductive technologies, including in vitro fertilization and surrogacy, and is overseen by the Kenya Wildlife Service in collaboration with international donors and research partners, the agency said in a statement issued in Nairobi, the capital of Kenya. Kenya is home to the world's last 2 remaining female northern white rhinos, housed at Olpejeta Conservancy in Laikipia County under 24-hour surveillance. The death of Sudan, the last surviving male northern white rhino at the conservancy in 2018, intensified efforts to revive the species through artificial insemination. In other news, a European Union leader on Thursday green-lighted plans to enhance the bloc's defense capabilities and reaffirmed their support for Ukraine. The EU leaders agreed to activate the National Escape Clause under the Stability and Growth Pact in a coordinated manner, allowing for increased defense spending and providing immediate budgetary flexibility across EU member states, according to a statement released after the meeting. They called on the Commission to explore further measures while ensuring debt sustainability to facilitate significant defense spending at the national level in all member states. The leaders approved the bloc's stance that there can be no negotiations on Ukraine without Ukraine and that Europeans must be involved in any talks concerning the security. They also vowed to continue financial support for Ukraine, committing 30.6 billion euros in 2025. Moving on to our next story. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and World Bank Group President Ajay Banga, during a meeting in Brussels, announced a joint effort to scale up renewable energy in Africa with the goal of providing electricity to nearly 300 million people by 2030. Currently, over 600 million people in Africa lack access to electricity, creating an urgent need for coordinated, large-scale action to bridge the gap and meet rising demand. The collaboration, known as Mission 300 and Scaling Up Renewables in Africa, aims to unlock Africa's growth potential, create job opportunities for youth, and enhance quality of life across the continent. The initiative, which was introduced last year, seeks commitments from governments, financial institutions, and the private sector and philanthropists to boost renewable power generation.
Only on the Pulse of Africa channel, all the time. Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.
Now, turning to business news. Tanzania said on Thursday it will launch its fifth oil and gas licensing round in May, in which 26 exploration blocks will be put to auction to help draw fresh investments in the East African country's hydrocarbon sector. Of the blocks on offer, 23 are offshore in the Indian Ocean, while 3 are also offshore but in Lake Tanganyika. Charles Sangweni, Director General for the country's Petroleum Upstream Regulatory Authority, told Reuters. It will be Tanzania's first oil and gas licensing round in more than a decade. Past exploration led to the discovery of more than 57 trillion cubic feet of natural gas reserves that the country is now using to generate more than half of its electricity. Sangweni said they are targeting to launch the exploration round during an African Energy Summit in London in May. Finally, a Moroccan government committee on Thursday approved green hydrogen projects aiming to produce ammonia, steel, and industrial fuel worth a total of 319 billion dirhams, $32.5 billion. The Moroccan committee picked the United States Ortis, Spain's Acciona, and Germany's Nordex to produce green ammonia, the Prime Minister's office said in a statement, without giving further details on the deadlines or sources of funding. A project by the UAE's TAGA and Spain's CEPSA to produce ammonia and fuel was also approved, together with a plan by Morocco's Nareva to make ammonia, fuel, and steel, it said. Saudi Arabia's Aqua Power will make steel, while Chinese firms UEG and China Three Gorges will team up to produce ammonia, it said. Morocco would offer each project up to 30,000 hectares of land once a preliminary agreement was signed, he said. Before concluding, let us provide you with the latest updates on global commodities prices. That is all for today, and thank you for watching Pulse of Africa.
This is Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.